What can you do when you are late in your pregnancy and perhaps you've done some birth preparation classes, you've been feeling really confident, really calm, just knowing you're going to nail labour and birth, and then suddenly you get to 37, 38, 39, 40, 41 weeks, and you wake up one morning and you just think, ah, and you just start having a wobble. The reality is setting in that you're going to be in labour very soon, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. You're not quite sure what it's going to be like. You're not quite sure what to expect. Panic and worry starts to kick in. What can you do? How can you manage that wobble? Well, first of all, we know it's just a wobble because that's what we've called it. So we know that it's not a permanent thing. We know we felt good. And so we can get back to that place. And here's a few suggestions for some of the things that you can do if you feel like you're having a pre-labour wobble and want to get your birthing mojo right back where you had it before. So first of all, one of the most important things that we can do is recognize that those feelings are totally valid and really normal. And also those feelings of kind of panic and worry and stress and maybe anxiety will create a hormonal response in your body, and that will kick your fight or flight response into action. And so the interesting thing is that your body has this reaction to your emotions, but in fact, it can only react in one way, and many different kinds of emotions create that reaction. So what do I mean by that? I mean, for example, that you can feel very scared and anxious, and your fight or flight response will kick in. Your adrenaline will kick in. You can also feel just like surprised and interrupted, and that can make your fight or flight response kick on. You can also feel positively excited. You can feel like really looking forward to something and just really, just excited. And that can also kick in the same physiological response in your body. So one of the first things we can do is to recognize that we're having this response in our body, but actually that we can have many different emotions connected with that. And sometimes we feel closer that it's an anxiety, but sometimes it can help us to reframe that a little bit and say, well, on one side of this feeling, I feel a bit worried, but on another side of this feeling, I feel really excited, and they can come together, and that's okay. So sometimes having a bit of a reframe about that can be really useful. The next thing that we can do is to start connecting in with our body and just try to disconnect a little bit from the feelings and come into the sensations. So a good way to do that is just to close your eyes and just to start noticing what's going on in your body and start to noticing what's happening. Have you got a tightness in your chest? Is it in your throat? Do you find it hard to breathe? Are your shoulders hunched up? Are your hands clenched? Are your teeth clenched? Have a little scan throughout your body. You don't need to change it necessarily, but just start to understand what other ways is your body having a physiological response. Now, when you become aware of the sensations in your body, what we can start to do is understand that we can start to influence the emotions again by changing the state of the body. So one way of doing this is to physically change your state. If you feel that you're tense and you're holding your hands and your teeth are clenching and you're like this, just try releasing the hands, just try releasing the shoulders, try to get relaxed. Sometimes it's not easy to do this, and sometimes it needs to be facilitated by a physical activity. So I find yoga a really fantastic way to do this because it gives us something to do that's quite simple. It's stretching, but releasing is part of that. But there may be something else that you could do. Maybe it's dancing, maybe it's putting on your playlist and having a really good shake and shaking it all out, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it's going for a run, but changing your physical state can start to help influencing your emotional state. The next thing we need to remember is that our breath is inexplicably linked to the stress response in the body. And again, we can use the breath in order to take ourselves out of a state of fight or flight and into a state of calmness and relaxation. And the key thing to remember with this is that we want to have longer exhales than inhales. And when we have longer exhales than inhales, we stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system in the body. And this is part of the autonomic system in the body that controls things automatically. And it kicks into gear and helps us reduce the adrenaline levels in our body and tells our body that we're in a calm place and safe. So a great way to do this is to take a big inhale and then blow your breath out as if you were blowing through a straw. This will naturally elongate the exhale, so the exhale is really, really nice and long and really ensures that the parasympathetic nervous system is switched on. And do this breath, for a couple of minutes, or if you prefer to count, perhaps you could do it 10 times or maybe 20, making sure, of course, that you don't feel out of breath, that you don't feel dizzy. If that happens, just let your breath return to normal and perhaps do it again with a bit less intensity. And when you follow this pattern of breathing over a few minutes, and especially in combination with releasing the body, so another thing that you can do is as you're exhaling and blowing out, you could really make an effort to release and relax the tension in your body. So when you take an inhale, as you exhale, blow, and release the hands, release the shoulders, release the belly, release the jaw and the mouth. With your next breath, try and keep soft. And as you exhale, again, release even further each time. And when we can connect the body and the breath in this way, we really find very quickly we can take the body out of that state of panic and into a state of calm. Now, the final tip that I have for when you're having that pre-labor wobble, when you've managed to get yourself out of that panic state and into a state of calm, but you're still thinking, shit. The next thing to do is remember everything that you have learned. If you haven't done any antenatal classes, it's not too late. There's online resources. Go out there, find them. You have instant access to my course if you want, that will take you only a couple of days if you sat down every day in the morning at 9 o'clock and work your way through it. It's not too late. If you have done classes, go back to that learning, go back to your notes, go back to the teacher, go back to those things that you learned. Remind yourself of all of those things that you learned, all of the things you know about how the body works, all the things you know about how to benefit the body in labor, all the things you know about how to cope with contractions. Practice those things, get them fresh in your mind again. Also talk with your birth partner, share your feelings with them, let them start supporting you right now. Let them be the person who reassures you. Don't forget about them. They're a really powerful resource before and after labor, not just during the process. And finally, hopefully you'll feel that your emotions are calming down a bit, that you're getting into a bit of a better state of mind. The wobble is going and you're thinking, you know what? I'm feeling apprehensive, but it's going to be okay. If you feel that you want some one-to-one help, that you want to talk through your own specific anxieties and work through some exercises relating exactly to that, feel free to get in touch with me. I do one-to-one sessions. Just look at birthsang.co.uk, private sessions, and you'll find all of my contact details to get in touch, and I'm really happy to help you. But hopefully these tips will immediately go right back right now. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and to my YouTube channel and be notified of any new videos that come out. I'm posting all the time useful tips about pregnancy and birth preparation. Thanks a lot. Bye.